fellow citizens, California has another crisis.
This is a real serious disaster.
And this one may have a greater impact than anything that has ever happened before.
The severity cannot be underestimated.
We have lost our pride.
It is a state of emergency.
We have lost our...
I
We have lost our Mexicans.
live without a Mexico. I woke up and my husband was gone. And there's a Mexican who would never leave without his teeth. Every explanation is
Forget about parking your car at valet. Forget about getting your traffic water.
Then I came here, the place was a mess. I had to wash the dish.
Why is the government calling them aliens if they did not think that they were from somewhere else?
Jose.
Mothership.
If we don't find them, we'll be in deep, you know what. And life as we know it will never be the same.
There's 13 million people missing, and you could be next.
How do you make the invisible visible?
Please come back. Okay.
A day without a Mexican.
Well, that was 2008. It was, of course, a Chicano film in the United States. It brings a lesson. What about when immigrants disappear? What about the daily activities of our well-developed society? What happens with all the supply chain that allows us to enjoy our current flamboyant economy, so well developed as we know. I mean, that's for me also personal. And thinking about it, I have been thinking about that populism is a good way to start taking in consideration into kind of ways to understand how to deal with eroticism, pleasure related with power, fantasies of grandeur, and so on. No? We have been learning a lot through history about how power seduces and how power also moves masses. So, if we are dealing with postcolonial times, if we're dealing with mass migrations, it's time to put things into balance and start hiring what kind of possible immigrant strike, no? Because, I mean, the welfare is well unequal distributed, and we are aspiring, following the promises of the modernity, to social justice. Not only for the white Anglo-Saxon and related masses that are more fortunate in their privilege. I know you agree with me because in your deepest, in the deepest core of yourself, you are for a kind of strong revolution. You are also, you want to go. But yeah, I have been, let's say, trying, to keep it in a more organized way, but how you can go serious with populism? How you can try to analyze in a proper way when you are, let's say, part of invisible minority? For me, this is kind of rehearsal of what may start to become either already, or a big social movement. But I let the chance to be more public figure to others. I am just to understand. Because everybody speaks about immigration. One can think on the desirable and acceptable immigration. But which is this? Which one are we talking about? one that can be useful and helpful one. For example, engineering for information technology, just important for India. I know, I think that with the pandemic, enterprises discover that it's not easy to work with them by Zoom. Yes, they are not more required to come here. But anyway. Or people who can invest in maybe in business, or at least, or migrants that can invest in business, or at least buy property, or at least a value of 100,000 coins. I don't know. Things beyond the wishes of government run in opposite ways, mostly. Because people's moves and displacement doesn't fit straight into governmental plans. Government uses to channel people to level the gap of the labor market, especially where natives and local citizens does not want to work the so-called dirty jobs. We already know it. Reinigungskraft, Seniorenpflege, Regionallandwirtschaftskraft, and so weiter and so forth. Let's say immigrants, illegal and underpaid work sustain the work economy and the privilege of top classes. But we are neither one nor the other. We are in the middle of the sandwich. Under moral. But what about the second or third class people who live around us, who are not entitled as proper citizens, but also pay taxes and make the sport or display the local accent in a proper way? And I mean the workforce that supports the supply chain in services like agriculture and EVs. I don't want to patronize what is clearly a corporate pattern by ruling power. I just think it is time for a strike, or a self-imposed lockdown at least, a utopia coming from border populations in the name of a possible new order. I think that this idea of new order sounds also familiar to me. It sounds like you hear about the new world order or something. Well, let's see in a moment. Now, I was willing to call two persons who are speaking for that. Because we are live for us. By the way, I will present Elisa Fuensalida, a researcher and writer who coordinated the Decolonial and Mexicano Chair in Museo Nacional de Arte, Centro de Arte Reina Sofía en Madrid. As hija de puto, so like son of a male bitch, Fuensalida was part of Porno Lab collective in Madrid. A platform that investigates and misuses audiovisual, literary, and theoretical materials that have been produced from or with the field of pornography with the manifest objective of questioning the mainstream narrative. Her writing, artistic and researching practice is anchored in intersections and bridges between body, community, care, and immigration. She just stayed here. And I don't want to lie. Because the body that she needs to pee. She will come in 1 second. Stay with us. I don't know.
Is she from Madrid or based in Barcelona? At the Reina Sofia? Because she said the platform.
She has been in Madrid and shipped to Berlin. Yeah.
Still on the toilet?
I hope. How will she come back dry? But yeah, a theoretician, but also kind of blue collar worker in hotels and seniority place, you know, so it's a real strong combination. The one that you shared with me was great. Okay. Hola. Hi, Elisa. How are you doing? Yeah, we are live.
Hi, hi.
Hi, Elisa. Yeah, I was asking you some questions regarding, let's say, this idea of the strike that I want to ask you about your experience living in Spain and Germany, working in different fields of in different sectors of the economy, even in the academic field, but also in kind of service work. How do you perceive the potential of these communities, migrant communities, to deal with a possible idea of a strike, of course, in a way, a utopic one?
Yeah, okay. I think I could speak a lot about my experience as a caregiver, and also in the jobs are now their jobs. They used to be called qualified jobs when I arrived here, and so yeah. But then I think I could say a number of things about that, and I have thought about it a lot. Not so much about a strike, especially in that around those activities, and also in the context of race. And I think I can explain also why I haven't thought so much about it. Okay, so. Yeah, regarding my experience, I have to say, although reproductive work in something with solidarities, because it refers to work domestic and caring for life, has historically been relegated to women, communities. Currently, and in a European context in which many women are intensely integrated into capitalist subjectivity and compete in it, the model I think has changed. Today's work field considered unskilled if it is placed in the hands of an even more protected and exploited group, which I think is migrants. And I am not only talking about women, about migrant women, but also about men. These are jobs that involve the body in a world where capitalism is cognitive. I mean, Western world, global. These jobs that are relegated to migrant men involves exposing the body, exposing the health, and delivery job, warehouse work, furniture moving, the jobs that are offered to migrant men. We know already that we need to do this. And these are jobs that involve a specific demand involved that in the daily work shouldn't be performed for more than a certain number of hours per week, because it's physical, seasonal, some of them are chronic. And however, the value, the economic value that these jobs are given by the power it's so poor that it is necessary to understand the body in order to reach a normal living wage. This is the I have been a long time. Of course, the research I do it in different conditions. I think that other academics, of course. I think, especially when I was doing it in university, spent a year and a half working in this project of political memory of precisely networks of care that were of AIDS in the United States, and I had to do this, of course, after my hours team. It was just very challenging, and I don't like to use the word produce or being productive is not something that I take in account a lot when I think about my activities as a researcher. But I have to say that I have read that during the lockdown, during the pandemic, academic papers were like, there was a profusion of production of academic papers, and I wonder who wrote them at the time. I also heard that it was a moment for so much, for a lot of people to take a rest, stop, to take a pause from the capitalist madness, and I don't know, I didn't take a pause at all. I worked crazy. I was working with elders, I was working in houses, I was working also in supermarkets, at the same time doing my research. Like the necessities of my family in Peru, where the crisis with the pandemic were double, you have to respond.
Elisa,
So,
you are pointing out something that for me is very important. So researching to care is, let's say, is to go deep into the liaisons, the links that keep us together and create strange bonds to sustain communities that are in border conditions. And I want to think about this idea because, I mean, maybe rather than to push harder for a kind of classical movement looking for right. Maybe we need to exchange and to make stronger this care liabilities, care bonds in order, let's say, to make more consciousness the community on their political requirements, no? It's
Yeah.
kind of problem.
Yeah, the thing is that it's interesting that you point this out because
But what are the premises for taking care?
sorry?
What are the premises of
The
taking
premises,
care?
the premises of
I mean,
care.
we can talk about taking care, but when it's floating in the air, then there is no orientation. So for me, it's quite interesting. What are your premises for taking care?
Would you do that for me, Carlos?
If you want to speak,
Yes,
use
you
the
can.
microphone.
What for me, to understand you a bit much better, that you are going in the neighborhood, on the streets, working with small groups, working with moving together, connecting women, setting up new networks. That is the thing that we can take care for each other, we can feel responsible for each other. But the crux for me is what means taking care. What are the coordinates behind it? What's the premises behind it? You know? What's the starting point of a reference?
Okay.
I mean, that's, of course, it's a process. So when you are talking with people at street, 10 women, few men, each of them brings in his own ideas. It's a living network. And we have to fish out of the network the things which are really strength in life. You know? That's what I call for myself the premises. You know?
Okay. Carlos?
Yeah.
I think I missed one part, like, because the microphone is not like, I couldn't hear the but he's asking me about what are my premises to talk about care. Well, I think also that is interesting because I think we should probably have, I don't know, we have missed the part in which we define what means to care, what is care, and if it's the same for a person who's a migrant and the person who is in the territory and where it was born, or especially being in the global north, right? So, and this is also linked with the thing about striking, and where I see some difficulties or challenges. I personally don't see myself as striking because working here in Europe is not something that I do just for myself, and it's something that I do precisely to care for my family, and not only my family, also, we just talked about this, our friends, our common friends, who now need us, we cannot work, we this, and I'm talking about the families too, like children families or whatever you want to call it. So, these networks of migrant people are transnational networks, and we care not only by listening to problems and gardening your plants where you're traveling, or taking a cake for you while you're sick. We care also by spending money, because our families or friends are left, and this is something that if all migrants go right, okay, I definitely imagine that it would have an impact in the kind of life that Europeans can afford themselves to travel to class and to have a super career and also being a dependent, also great. But it would have an impact in our people abroad. You see, so.
Yes, this is the other side of the struggle. Of course, there's an impact also in the money that is delivered to the home country. Yes.
Yeah.
But I
So,
keep the idea of the politics of care again, because I think it is something that it is maybe not well considered.
Sorry?
I mean,
Say again?
I keep you what you point out, and what also Harm looks the curator who asked you is was asking for, no? I mean, this basis of care, how to reconsider and rethink care beyond this kind of system and well-established necropolitics of neoliberal global capitalism.
Well, I don't know. I guess it has to do with the time that you put in others, right? Like you only care about what you pay attention to. You know, like I think I'm listening. Sorry, maybe I'm missing the point because like I heard that the question was long, but I think only one part, and but when you talk in the microphone, I think it's clear. So if you want to take your time, but maybe we can like try to understand better what's the question because I think I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I thank you a lot for your participation in this. I think the idea is much more complex and needs another space also to feel better located and explained. But by the time I thank you a lot for your participation live here in Switzerland. And
Thank you.
Thank you again for your speech.
Okay. Thank you guys. Have a good evening.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay. This was Elisa. And now we are with Fraude Amanda. Fraude Amanda is what's up? Hola. Hi. Can you please put your telephone? Yes, great. Thank you. Okay, I will present Héctor Acuña. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. I need to resize. Okay. Great. Okay. Fraude Amanda, she is the artistic ego of Héctor Acuña. Since 1999, transvestite audiovisual artist, drag performer, translator, writer, independent curator, cultural inspector, DJ, and occasional actress. She specializes in transgender art and multimedia performance from a new decolonial historicity. Her figure emerged from the direct confrontation with the heteropatriarchal hindrances that dominate our systems, media, networks, and life itself. She is currently developing a transvestite neo-baroque aesthetic in writing. Her main practice is an audiovisual artist and curator, working mainly with photography, video, electronic music, and multimedia platforms. In 2020, he published Escenas Catalanas, Errances Antropológicos Sexuales, Catalan Scenes, Anthropological Sexual Wandering, under the publishing house La Máquina, Barcelona. We are glad to have here Héctor Claudiamanda by WhatsApp video. And I want to ask her about our topic. How do you consider, Héctor, the possibilities of a migrant strike?
Well, I guess for us, migrant, subordinate people, I guess a strike or a fictional, I'm thinking in French, sorry. I guess a state of stopping everything as producers of knowledgement, as producers of other epistemologies and such. I guess it's important in a way of thinking ourselves as empowerment, in a way of not rejecting, but in order to put a stop in some kind of thinking of European white people on us, as like if we are just subordinate people, that we don't have nothing to give in here or share as a way of acknowledgement and stuff. So I guess a way of stopping to share things from the South mostly. It's in a way of thinking ourselves like containers of acknowledgement. I mean, it's a way of not in an intersectional way only, but as a way of sharing and gathering some kind of, I don't know how to put it, saying that we must face a lot of troubles in this place, mostly in Spain as a racist country. We have a lot to offer in a way of acknowledgement, as a way of behaving, as a way of getting other alternative ways of thinking the world and seeing life, you know. And I guess in that way, a strike, it could be a way of getting or making this environment as such as a dry context. I mean, as a stopping the fluid of acknowledgement and sharing. I guess so.
Okay, so it will not take more time, let's say, to create more stronger communities, more aware in a more consciousness political way in order, let's say, to face this kind of violent political dominant power. I mean,
yeah.
How do you see in the cultural sector, maybe? You are, let's say, kind of infective agent in Barcelona.
Yeah, I guess there's a very interesting concept in the way of thinking as the infection. Infection as a way of political empowerment of subordinate people and people that we are just marginalized all the fucking time, mostly us, as transvestite people. We are just looking as the outcasts of the contemporary capitalist society. I mean, in a way of that we are just not subordinate, but we are just killed. As a way of erasing our history, as a way of erasing our culture, as a way of erasing our epistemology. So it's a killing of something that we must, that could, in a way, the way of communication to the heteronormative way of thinking. We have a lot to propose. We have a lot to propose in the way of sensibility, as a way of seeing the world, and as a way of obviously sexual. I mean, I have this crazy theory about the aura. Before colonization, in the indigenous primitive cultures of Latin America, us transvestites have a very important role as a way of shaman. We were just the mediators between the cosmos and the people. So, with colonization, it was just completely cast off of this way of being part of a society. So we just transvestite, and all the sexual dissidences were just killed and erased and silenced. So I guess this is a way of thinking about the aura. We have an energetic cosmogonical aura then in the past. And with colonization, it was just completely put away. And we just now have this aura of marginalization and aura as just a fetishization of sexual bodies. So I guess this is a very important way of thinking, that the aura of the transvestite was erased and stolen in a way.
Okay, thank you. Then you give me more insights to things that I need to think much deeper in order to clarify how to deal with this endeavor to claiming for kind of potential migrant strike. Well, I will thank you, Hector, Amanda, for your participation. You bring us a very important statement to think about marginalized communities that most of the time are objectified as curiosity, not only in the cultural sector but also as kind of marginalized labor workforce.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And if you want to say some words to the migrant audience here in Zurich.
Okay, we are just we must fight all the fucking time, because I guess the culture is not white. It's not only for privileged people. Art is just belongs to every one of us, and every person is entitled to profit it and share it and just love it. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you. Well, after these two testimonies, I really think that, it is a matter to continue, no? It's like Pinky and Dr. Brain, no? Thinking more about what's the next step. By now, it is all from me. I am very thankful to this racialized, non-white, non-Christian audience that share this pain with us in order to think about how to deal with this domination we suffer. Thank you again.